you all. Okay, partners, sponsors, distinguished guest. Okay, and of course our legends, Virus, Fauzi, Tengku Jan, Zen Lo, Son So, and Alex Wong. Now, due to the clash of events, we apologize for the absence of YB Datuk Sri Ramanan, which we promised which will be here. But no worries, our Deputy Minister of Entrepreneur and Cooperative Development, Datuk Sri Ramanan, will be present during the main event on the 14th of June. Yeah. All right, now thank you for joining us today. Okay, which is the press conference of Malaysia Auto and Lifestyle Festival 2025, where speed meets soul and community meets culture. All right, now this year, MALF returns with a full throttle celebration of what makes Malaysia truly unique. Uniting motorsports, heritage, and lifestyle in one mega 3-day festival at the Sepang International Circuit, which is 13th, 14th, and 15th of June 2025. From track day thrills and over 700 stunning vehicles on display to traditional performances, food bazaar, and family attractions gathering. Now, this is not just another auto show, it's a movement that reflects the true spirit of One Malaysia. Now, to talk to you more or to get to know more about what's going on, okay, can we have Mr. John Tan to talk to all of you. Can we give a big round of applause for Mr. John Tan, our EO, the minute man. There you go, sorry.
Thanks, Kevin, for having me.
All right, but before that, let's play you a video, a clip for you to see. Yeah, that's right, ladies and gentlemen. Again, let us have John to tell you what is MALF all about. Yeah, 2025. Let's give another big round of applause. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Kevin. Okay, so welcome, guys. This is our third year running MALF, and we have seen the event grow from strength to strength. Many of our partners came from the first year, and they still continue to be with us after 3 years. So we are very grateful because it didn't take too long for us to set up this event, but it's all thanks to the partners we have on board, and the trust they place on us. The video speaks more than I can say about what we're going to do during the event, and we're very happy to have all of you on board. Thank you.
All right, now, ladies and gentlemen, let us introduce you to Legends of Speed. Okay, one by one. Ladies and gentlemen, first of all, let's help me to welcome Mr. Alex Wong. He's Malaysia's ex-jet ski champion, rockstar, and owner of Fast and Furious Cafe. Mr. John, let's have a seat first.
Yeah.
All right, now, Number 2, can we have Zen Low, international GT racing driver.
One
Now
of our
these
most
are
successful
legends,
racers,
yeah?
from Le Mans to GT racing.
Wow. And Virus Fauzi.
Less than a handful, the big F1 and A1.
Yeah, Malaysia professional race car driver, A1 GP. Now, next, of course, another legend, Tengku Jan.
He's been to everything okay, on wheels and off wheels.
Yeah, head of Proton Motorsport and also a Malaysian professional drift driver who has taken part in the D1 Grand Prix Racing Series. All right, coming up next, can we have Sony So?
The only Malaysian to win Malaysian Grand Prix twice.
Yeah, Malaysian motorcycle road racing champion. And last but not least, can we have Dato Zulkifli Mohamad, Managing Director of Quantum 188. All right. Okay, so now it's time actually to throw some question to
I think they'll be fantastic.
our legends lah. All right. So okay, maybe we should pass the mic to. Oh, you pass the mic to them. Okay.
Let's start with Alex.
Okay. So
Start with me.
start with Alex. Any of you who have any question first for Mr. Alex here? Alex Wong is Malaysia's ex-jet ski champion. All right. No? Yes? No? Okay.
I do.
Now you have a question for him. Okay, that's
What speed are you doing? You know.
Well, when I was racing, I'm much older now, but the guy was doing about 165 kilometers per hour. But my days, 135, 130. That's about it. Let's put it this way. I won the Australian Championship in 1996, and I won on the boat was doing 125 kph on the straight. That's all. Now they're doing it at 185, 190, because now they're running 4 strokes. I was running 2-stroke engines in those days, you know, carburetor. Yeah.
well by saying those days is like what, 5 years ago, 10 years
Yeah,
ago.
yeah, okay, let's say that.
You don't look that old.
The difference in horsepower is about 150. Those days I was doing 230 horsepower. They're running at 370 now, 380.
All right. So Alex, are you still into speed? Are you still
Very much so, unfortunately. Yeah, still.
Unfortunately, why?
I'm still riding a lot, but I'm trying to avoid riding on the river in Sarawak because a lot of crocodiles there now. A lot.
A lot.
We see them every day, and the tourists take photographs of them. So no more riding on the river for me.
Oh,
Yeah.
so it's in the river, not above the river lah.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Anyway, any more question from the floor? Okay. When did you stop loving speed for you?
None of these guys will ever stop. Well, you know, it's just different machines.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Mr. Alex Wong, Malaysia's ex-jet ski champion, right? Also, he's a rocker. Would you like to elaborate something about that? No lah.
Yeah, I used to have a band.
Would you say
And
that?
then, we toured Asia. We toured Asia, and we played everywhere in Asia, from Bali to Shanghai to Beijing. But
What's the name of the band?
Single Track Mind. Yeah. So yeah, and I should do covers of. Anyway, it's in the past.
No.
I lost my guitarist. I stopped because my guitarist he died.
Oh.
One Hari Raya Eve. So not a great story. But once he passed away, I just gave up on music. I never played again very much.
Okay, you must love him a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good friend.
Okay. Maybe any more questions that would you like to throw to any of our legends or even our EO here? Okay. Anyway, next can we have Mr. Zen Lo? Okay. Now, so Mr. Zen, do you have any good story, or maybe how you start racing in the first place. Can you tell our audience?
Sure. Good afternoon, everyone. As we all know, motorsport is very, very expensive. When I told my doctors, those are considered accountants, considered a career. So motorsport is basically just at a very, very young age. Actually, I grew up with Alex. We came from same kampong, so to speak. So back then, Alex was racing go-kart first, right? Before jet ski, yeah. And I can only drew standing by, you know, not a race track, more like a makeshift race track. We actually race around the shop lot, believe me or not. It's actually a public road, yeah. Standing aside, hopefully one day I can buy myself friends just to try it out, and then after that I was hooked up, you know. So, cut long story short, for me to get into motorsports without any support from my parents financially, the only way is to do it yourself, you know. So I focus on doing business, making money, make sure that I have sufficient money, go and live my dreams. So eventually, after like 20, I was in 30 already. Position where I make enough money to buy myself the very first race car. That was a Lotus. Sorry, it was a Honda from Lotus car Malaysia, and that was my first official race car. From there, I told my wife, I said, just give me 3 years, you know. I just want to experience what a race car life is all about, just 3 years. But then, of course, I lied. Yeah. It went on for another 15 years, I never stopped. And I learned the business so quickly. I know how to extract every in the industry, how to make money and how to become a race driver. Keep going. Because in this industry, or rather in any industry, I would say, nobody give a damn, nobody support you, nobody want to sponsor you because you're nobody. But when you're somebody, everybody wants a piece of you. I mean, that's life, you know. It's obvious. So when I won my championship, back then it's called the MSS Malaysia Super Series. After I won that championship, I can call myself a champion. And when I started responsibility, yeah, so he responded to my letter, and then he gave me my very, very first sponsorship, 5,000 ringgit. So it was a big deal for me. And from that point, I just learned, and I got better in the sponsorship, how to raise more and more money, and I went on to doing it until up to GT3 level. I did 2 seasons with the Asia Le Mans Championship, all the GT cars basically, you know. So that's where I am today.
Wow. Wow, that's nice. So you're still doing it?
I'm not racing anymore. Since COVID, I moved platform to drifting. The very first time, before I stepped in a race car, I actually went to Jan's place. Jan, remember your first track, the horse track? Yeah. So I went there and I told my wife, I said, this is what I want to do. My wife said, make up your mind. You want to drift or you want to go circuit? I said, I want to do both. My wife said, no, you can pick one. Only pick one. So, but unfortunately, the circuit opportunity came first. So that's why I started circuit. Then COVID gave me the opportunity to switch platform to drifting.
Okay.
And I was forced to go to drifting in a way because I already taken all my sponsorship money and COVID came in. So my sponsor said, then I want my money back. You're not going racing. I said, I don't have your money, bro. I spent it already. Oh shit. So all the money went to the race car, the tires, and so forth. I said, look, can we do a deal? I said, what is it? Can we move to drifting? They have no idea what's drifting. So then I told them, I said, this is drifting, this is paint the whole picture, very nice, very beautiful. And then my sponsor said, so okay, so you can't back the money, this is the only thing you can do. I said, yes, either we do this or you have to wait another 5 years for me to find money to refund all the money. They said, okay, let's do this. And guess what? I don't know how to drift. Nothing. I only know how to do basic donut. So I start calling all my friends. I said, can somebody teach me how to drift? You know, so over the night, I worked very hard. I practiced and practiced and practiced. Within 3 months, I went back to my sponsor. I said, let's do this. But before that, they didn't know I don't know how to drift. You know? Yeah.
Okay. That's a brave story, and then without knowing how to, they wait for MC to do the questioning. This now, how did you get into the industry, and can you tell us like what maybe
Okay, first of
a
all,
bit of your story? Yeah, you have to hold it nearer.
good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, John, for inviting me. It's a pleasure to be part of the whole entertainment industry. I basically I rented the car. Then I told my dad I really would love it. So that's how I started. When we came back, I said I want to be a race driver because from I was young, I just love automotive. I love cars. I started car when I was 5.5.
And your father just say yes.
Actually, I crashed the car. So I never told him until I was 8 years old.
How did you hide the car?
Yeah, how did you? You were fine.
My dad actually was a Proton dealer last time. So I remember there's a shop, Proton shop in Taman Tun. So some of the car, so some of the car they park at home. So there's a 5 in stock, so there's no place to park, so they park at home. So I forgot to press the clutch. Basically, I start the car, I put first gear, and it went boom, boom, boom. I just switch off, I quietly put back the key, and then when my dad came back and saw the car, who did this? You know,
I don't know. I know
When
somebody.
he was 8 years old, I told him actually.
And he did not suspect anything.
I tried to run because I tried to replicate. So along the way, when I say 6.5, I start to fine tune myself. I took the gear game and start driving. And I go around the Taman Sabah area, Taman Tun, first gear alone.
Yeah.
For the first time, I managed to get the first gear, but I didn't change to second gear. So I managed to stay in the first gear all the way. Oh,
You must be a very tall kid then.
actually, with the Proton Saga, you can really push your seat to maximum. As long as I can see the front end, it's fine. All the eyes and kids.
Are you sitting down or standing up at that time?
Actually, I was quite tall for
For 6 years old.
So then after that, my dad saw that I got interest in this, so he decided, said, look, I will buy you a go-kart. We do practice. At that time, I was 7. If you can recall, City Karting, one of the pioneer, which is Apiao. He got the track in Padamaran. So we bought a kart and then do practice. At that time, I don't have any competitor for my age.
Yeah.
So 8 years old is my first race to race with senior. There's no cadet category at that time.
Officially or?
Officially, here my first race I think second with the senior. But at the time, my kart have to have a lot of weight to be able
Yeah.
to same equal with everyone. But I was
To
quite
compensate of your lack of weight lah.
So from
Because-
there I carry on and do it every week. Padang Kelang. That's the place where I used to practice at the time. Until 9 years old, 10 years old. Then I think 10 years old, my dad decided to become a go-kart dealer because he quite shocked when he saw the bill. At the time.
Okay.
So at that time the money was I think for the whole season about 100,000.
Wow.
Including the 3 protons?
No, that's a go-kart. So when he decided this is too much. That's when he decided to really invest in go-kart, become a dealer, and he knew that to have the hardware, you need to have a software driver to create the hardware. Then he built a track. The first track that he built in 1996, it was in Langkawi. So he built a track in Langkawi, then from Langkawi, then he built a track in Elite Speedway. If you know, so he was the one that built all the circuit in early this stage. So when I was 12, 13, I was quite successful in my karting years. When I was 12, he asked me, are you going, no, sorry, I was 12 or 13. He asked me, are you going to do this for hobby or professional? I told him, of course, professional. Because at that time, there's too many distraction, especially when you are 12, 13,
Yeah.
as a man, you know, the distraction will be,
Salah. Female, woman, girl, speak it out. Everybody knows this is facts of life.
So I know that my dad sacrificed a lot on in this, you know, because at one point when we went to cut it short, we went to professional. I was 17, I was very successful throughout the year of cutting. I went to UK to do Formula Ford in 1999. That is the same year when Jensen Button won the Formula Ford series. So my first time, my dad sent me there. Before that, 1998, Willie Weber. Willie Weber was Michael Schumacher manager. Wanted to sign me
Whoa.
as a product to become the first Muslim Formula 1 driver.
Wow.
At that time. He saw that what Lewis Hamilton created before. Ron Dennis created Lewis Hamilton as a first black Formula 1 driver. So he saw that potential in Middle East. I think we didn't regret. My dad was a bit worried at the time because 1998 was the downturn. The economy was very bad. We had to raise at that time about 80,000 pounds.
Wow.
For us to continue racing, which is I think considered cheap. If I hit the target in the top 10, I don't have to pay anything. But we didn't go to that route because he flew to KL to meet my dad from 1996. He looked at the program, he was happy with the progress. So then we didn't do it, we didn't sign with Willie Weber, with Schumacher manager. Then 1999 we decided to go on our own. So 1999 I started to race in Formula Ford. My teammate was Danica Patrick, the female racer before. Now she's doing, I think she's retired, but she used to race in IndyCar and NASCAR. But she's very fast. For woman, she's very fast. So then from Formula Ford, I didn't get a good result. I think it's only the highest I was in 7. Part of it is because my first year and also climatization to adapt.
Yeah, of course, adaptation is.
And then, you know, as a Malaysian Malay, you really want to have rice, right? Everything is very hard at that time. So 2000, I raced in Formula Renault and so on. I finished. I won 1 races and some podium finish. Then throughout the year 2001, Formula 3, every ladder that I jump, I had win and podium. So my highest achievement was in Formula 3.5 was with Renault, which is we had our own team as a national team for the first time. That's when second year we finished runner-up in the championship, in the world championship for the Formula Renault 3.5 as a national team and as a nation racer. Then throughout the year, I did some A1GP. I got called from Alex. Alex offered me opportunity thanks to him, you know, Alex Young. So he offered me to do the testing in A1GP, and I had some winning and some podiums in A1GP. So Gujan was the guy also behind it for some part of the success. So you are the data engineer or something like management or something.
Team management, yes.
Yeah. So we had a great time, and then I raced in some GP2 Asia and GP2 series with some winning and some wins and some podium. And then 2010, Tony called my dad, Tony Fernandez. He was asking whether there's an opportunity time because at that time it's a new team. So then we went to see Tulmade and you know we managed to get the entry and Tun and Bernie and Kirsten was very close at the time because Tun brought in Formula 1 in Malaysia in 1997, 98. Yes. So we managed to get Tony managed to get the entry for Formula 1 and he started the team. And it was great to put everything together
for such a short period
Short
of time.
period.
Then after I signed with Tony, I got call from Petronas.
Wow.
At the time, Petronas, BMW withdraw from Formula 1. So they called me, they called me whether are you interested to drive? I said, I already signed with Tony. Then I said, look, if you sign with us, we just roll over the contract to have Malaysian driver. But I can't because I already signed.
Yeah.
But at the time, I didn't think, I was still young, it's too many choice and
Yeah.
the boat is there, I surely got the receipt at the time. Then after that, then we do some testing and 2010 with Tony, then 11, end of the year, I depart from Tony. There's some complication with, I think, naming right at the time, Lotus Wrestling and Lotus Renault with Proton. And Proton, I met Proton. Proton said, why don't you join us with Lotus Renault at the time, 2011. So in 2011, I managed to do the driver valuation. I was the quickest among all the drivers. But one of the driver managed to bring in sponsors, which is about, I think, around 15 million euro. So they need the money. So either they put me or they get the driver and the money. So at the end of the day, if you look now, motorsport is a package. I think most of the drivers that race in Formula 1, they have a backer behind him. I mean, nothing is free ride, but of course, it's a industry where the driver brings the sponsor and then they get paid through the team. But once you get to a certain stage, then you carry on. I think automatic.
Yeah, sure. So, like, for now, what do you do now? Do you still drive?
If there is opportunity, I'd love to come back driving. But my mentor is Muhammad Ali. Yeah, I look him as a man that plans everything in life. So the last 30 years I've been racing. So I would like to explore in the corporate world. Yes, I would like to contribute what I had before in the past to the new generation. We still got the go-kart track in Langkawi. That is something that we have a program with the KDS to basically finding, search for the grassroots.
The new generation of drivers.
But I still believe that we need some entity, something that very stronger that can, like in UK there is a young driver program. Right? There is a fund that they fund into this bank that help the young drivers.
Wow.
At least 50%. Because if you can help the driver to achieve their dream, the driver probably have 50%, but to have the extra 50% to support for them to achieve their dreams and also become as a proper professional career driver. You look at motor racing, motorcycle, there's a lot of talent. Malaysia is fantastic.
Oh, yes.
Malaysian is fantastic. There is a lot of talent. They can ride. You see like the riders that won Gabil won Spanish Rookie Cup. There's a talent there. There's some of the riders that race in the Hafiz Shahrin, they're winning on podium. That means that there's a talent. But we have to create a system whereby how do we support the local to race for the next level? Because at the moment, example, there's a lot of solution. Tax credit, this blah blah blah. People only talk, but things never happen. I believe with Jan, me, or some other drivers, if we form something, just to help, to contribute, not as talking, but to help. We are looking forward to your fund.
That's the most important thing.
50%. What I'm saying that the fund, those who basically they contribute, right? Those who pay tax, at least 50% of the tax contribute to they get the advantage to get the branding on their car. They pay to help, but they get the branding. So there is the solution is there. Yeah, I think that's only how to create the economy for motorsport in Malaysia. At the moment, everyone is like complaining. They know this. It's nice. You feel good. You feel energy, good vibe, good positive experience motorsport. But at the end of the day, you ask yourself: is this going to be something that you can earn if you don't have the whole thing correct? No. I mean, nowadays you go to fishing, 200,000 ringgit. What is the thing? Right? So you have to create something. The esports now overtake because esport is cheap, but they create something that can help everyone can drive. But they need a bridging whereby from the esport to the real car. Right? This is something, the solution is there, but someone has to bridge it. This is one thing.
That's very much. Wow. Hey, I think Tengku Jan, also head of Proton Motorsport and also Malaysian professional drift driver. Talking about drift, everybody, actually for me, I know drift from the movie Tokyo Drift.
Yeah,
I'm sure all of you also like that. Can you tell us something about drifting?
Yeah, that was the turning point for drifting. That's when drifting went commercial. That's when everybody knew about drifting.
Yeah,
Started talking about it.
right.
But yeah, so my story is slightly different from everyone else. I'm not so much a race car driver, but more of a car enthusiast that got into racing. And how I got into racing is actually through the technical side. So I did automotive engineering. So I build my own cars, I develop my own cars, I set my own cars, I race my own cars. So I'm not as fast as Fairuz, for example. I think Fairuz, no, seriously, I mean, we grew up more or less in the same era. And he was going for the Formula One group at the time. And I really had my money on him. Why? Is because it's the way he drives. So when you see somebody drive, especially in wet weather, and at the time nobody really knew what driving sideways was, but he would take all these cars sideways. You know, he's the only guy going around the punk sideways, for example, other than me. So I knew that it's something very different. And then we went to Zandvoort, A1 Grand Prix, and he won the race in the wet.
First round.
Yeah, first round for the season, and he won in the wet. So it's a different breed of people. So for drifting, how I got involved in it is from the work that I was doing. I'm a vehicle dynamics engineer. I do a lot of chassis development. I was working with Lotus Engineering UK at the time. We were doing a lot of projects. And part of the job is actually to go and drive, because whatever we design, develop, test, we have to drive it to confirm it. We have to collect dynamic data out of it. So the skill of driving is needed, and the style of driving is actually slightly different. Generally, you hear people say, "Oh, I drove 100%, I drove 110%," but actually, we drive as a development driver. We drive at 80%. To achieve 100%, because we need the additional 20% to actually process what's actually happening with the car. So I bring the same philosophy to my racing as well. So again, if you're on a racetrack, you're racing with other people. If you're giving 100 or 110%, you actually have no additional brain power to process your maneuvers and what you could. Yeah, when it comes down to drifting, so from the skills, the skills that I developed, at the time drifting was branching out of Japan as well. We saw what drifting was, and at the time I was like, hey, I can actually do this, And I think the beauty about it is I wrote the way for drifting. So drifting was developing very rapidly worldwide. Took the opportunity to actually introduce it to Malaysia also at the time. It was brand new. I spoke to the CEO, which was Dato' Ahmad at the time, and said, hey, can I have the paddock area just for a couple of hours, bring a few guys, wet the paddock area, and then try and get everyone to drift their cars. So that's how it started in Malaysia. It moved from a few guys or enthusiasts driving rear-wheel drives. We ended up having Formula Drift Asia. We had D1 Grand Prix in Malaysia. Malaysia is actually the first country outside of Japan to have the full D1 Grand Prix professional series. And it just mushroomed out within Southeast Asia. Next was Thailand, then Indonesia, of course. It evolved into Formula Drift Asia, which covered 4 different countries: Malaysia, Singapore, Thailand, Indonesia. So those were the heydays of drifting. Yeah, so yeah, that's my experience in the sport of drifting.
Wow. Any of you experienced drift before? No, huh? All very safe driver, huh? Okay, good for you. Better be safe, yeah? Okay, can we have our next, next one, Mr. Sonny? Mr. Sonny So is Malaysia motorcycle road racing champion on motorcycle GP. Yeah, we have talked about cars, all 4 are cars. Now we move on to motorcycle. It's such a dangerous sport. Is it, Mr. So? What do you think?
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Well, when you're young age, you don't realize what is speed. You don't know what is the dangerous part of motor racing.
Yeah.
You just get into it, you know.
There's no dictionary, no dangerous. In your dictionary, there's no such word as dangerous, right?
I don't understand you. Well, anyway, I started when I left school. My dad runs a little bicycle shop. Then I converted it to a motorcycle shop, you know. So I was dealing with motorcycle. And at the time, we were selling Moto Guzzi Italian motorcycle. And the CEO or the franchise holder said, why don't you try motor racing, you know? So he willing to sponsor me with the parts. So I took up the first race at the Slamban Sprint. Yeah, quarter mile sprint. So I stripped the bike, you know, do it all myself. I came out 4th in my class. You know. Then later, I started to sell Suzuki, and then the Suzuki franchise holder asked me, why don't you try motor racing? That's where I started, you know. And I did quite well. So later, you know, start to get deeper into it.
Quite well, meaning how quite?
Well, I start to win some state races like Singapore Grand Prix.
That's not quite well, that's very well.
You know. So, and then after one race, I did very well in Singapore Grand Prix. When the New Zealand top rider Jeff Perry came to Malaysia to race, and I was a runners-up, you know. Then after that, I wanted to explore or want to further my racing. So I wanted to race in Australia and New Zealand. But I asked me how I'm going to do that. But lucky enough, I went to Singapore Airlines. They was prepared to sponsor me. So I did 1 year in Australia and New Zealand, which I did called the Pacific Series. So at the time, I thought I was very good, you know. I thought myself, I'm a top rider. I went down and raced in Australia. And I was beaten left, right, and center. Then I realized I was nobody, you know.
No, don't say that.
But during the period in the series, I learned a lot from the top riders because I was fortunate enough to race against some of the professional motorcycle racers, like Suzuki Works rider Ron Grant from America, Cliff Carr from England, and you know, and other top riders. So I picked up a lot of tips from them. So when I came back, 2 years later, a few years later, I won the Malaysian Grand Prix.
Wow.
Back to back.
Amazing. So, Sunny, what do you do now?
Well, after motor racing,
Are you still going to vroom vroom?
Yeah, I
vroom?
still ride a bit. I still ride. I have a BMW motorcycle, and once a while I ride around. You know. After motor racing, I did a bit of sailing.
Sailing?
Yeah, I did sailing for a couple of years, sailing around to Thailand and all these things.
So if I'm a teenager who wants to go into, especially Malaysian, you know, want to go into motorcycle racing, what is your advice to them?
Well, at our time, motor racing is cheap to take part. But today, I think so it's very expensive unless you have a corporate sponsor. Because at my time, you need 2 mechanics, myself, you were able to take part, no?
Mhm.
You buy a bike, which a few $1,000s, you can race, no? But today, I don't think so. A motorcycle will cost you a few $100,000 to $1 million
Mhm.
for a motorcycle, and you need about 20 people to look after it.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's a different ballgame today.
Yes.
It's very expensive sport.
Amazing, yeah? Next, we have Dato Zulkifli. So Dato, tell us a little bit of what's happening to you and, what actually sucks you into this speed thing.
Okay, thanks to our handsome Kevin MC. Firstly, John, thank you so much for inviting me today. Thank you very much. And I would like to thank especially our media members. You guys are very, very important, very special to the whole event. Not just today, but you've been doing it for years. Firstly, I'm from Hospitality 360. We are a lifestyle company. Can I have my team members stand up, please? Just so that people recognize that you are from Just Rachel, yeah. Okay, yeah. This is my team member. We are in the life business, lifestyle, yeah. From hotels, from oceans to highlands to marinas and all that. We manage Royal and marinas and all that. Long story short, we are lifestyle, even cigars, yeah. We into that. So today, John, I feel very honored with all these gentlemen here, especially Mofas. I learned a lot from Fairuz and the brothers and his father as well. Nikujan from Proton. I was ex-Proton and ex-Mofas. And John, I'm very touched today because I think this gentleman here on our right, this is the real asset of our country, Malaysia. Give them a big round of applause. Now, my suggestion to all the media members, do a program with them. You go on a ride with him. Then you will know what motorcycles are all about. These gentlemen here, whether skis or drift, Fairuz and all, they are in a different world because they race in the circuit. They do not race on the road. The road is very dangerous. You ask them, they'll tell you it's very dangerous because in the circuit it's just one way. One way straight, right? So I think, John, what we have here is that I like the point that Fairuz mentioned just now, that motorsports is actually a business. We need to create an ecosystem, like he rightly said. Technical, knowledge, academic, and all. I don't want to take too much time, but John, I'm saying to you that these legends here that we have here, while they're still alive, create an ecosystem. We need, as a private sector, go to the government and tell them, look, these are your assets. Malaysian must not appreciate people, legends, when they're no longer around. We must change that culture. Kita kena recognize orang masa dia hidup. And then, as you listen just now, all of them want to give back. Zan, Alex, everybody, every one of them, sorry, they want to give back. And this young man here, this young man here, you wouldn't believe, if dengan izin boleh. He's 81 years old. Yeah, his birthday on 23rd December. Anyway, big hand, big hand.
We will never guess he's 81.
Kevin,
We never guess.
Kevin, if you sit there and you look at all these legends, the shoes they're wearing, they're young at heart. You cannot deny that they're young at heart. The challenge with them is, Alex, don't, Alex, in your DNA, and all of you, your DNA is speed. They have that in their DNA. I don't have it, but they have. Not just that, they have experience, they've got knowledge, they've got networking. Why can't the country use them? What are we waiting for, brother? If they don't want to take it up, we take it up as a private sector. Recognize them. We have the infrastructure. Talk to whoever owns the infrastructure. Create an academy. John pointed out a very good point. right? Water the thing and we want to spin around. Yeah, because it's from an engineering point of view. We have it, John. Take it out. And I will be willing, hospitality as a lifestyle company, and I myself, I mean, learn a lot from Mofas days and Proton. Take it out. We take it out. Nobody's going to take it out. So these friends yang ada ni, member ni, get them to drift. Then they can write about drifting. Angkat tangan siapa nak? Betul. Get on the jet ski. Betul. Kalau dekat Sarawak ada buaya yang bahaya memang. Go to Sungai Kuantan, the buaya there is vegetarian. Rachel, betul tak Rachel kan? Betul kan Rachel? Vegetarian. So, come on media friends. Betul tak? Betul. Kalau you nak belajar drift, semua ni semua seafood ni. It's all seafood. Nak tunggu apa? Tunggu diorang tak ada. Janganlah. They are still alive. They want to give back. Apa kita tunggu lagi? Betul tak? Kita ada sikit tak? Kita ada infra tak? ASEAN, kita host. Asia, siapa lagi ada sikit dengan kita? Boleh. Siapa lagi ada legend macam ini? I bukan nak memuji dia orang, tidak. I'm just saying, this is our asset of the country. Indonesia tak ada, Thailand tak ada, Filipina tak ada. Maybe dia ada lah, maksud saya dia ada. Tapi tak sehebat yang ni. Okay, tai-tai baik lah tu. Tapi dia orang tak ada job. Why do you think he's creating all this? It's a recognition. So media friends, bincang dengan dia, John, put a program, let them go on this jet ski apa ni semua with the legend. A day or an hour with the legend. Then you tahu lah, oh my God, aku tak berani buat benda ni. Ya, betul. So that is my input today. Ecosystem, legend semua ada, John, bagi dong recognition by the industry. Tak peduli orang lain lah. Kita, by the industry, kita recognize them. Give them the award. Set up a gallery, kau nak buat gallery kan? Kita buat digital gallery ni, semua legend ni, kita letak kat tower-tower. I will talk to the towers, KL Tower ke, Petronas Tower ke, apa benda tower ke, because I sit on the World Federation Great Towers. Sell the story. Digital, pakai QR code. Tengok macam mana ni sweat. Satu soalan, Fairuz. You still hold the record for some timing of the circuit kan? Kat mana ni? Ayrton Senna punya circuit. He hold the circuit, man. He beat Ayrton Senna punya time kan? A1, big round of applause. So, you all banyak idea. You banyak nak tulis, tapi benda ke lah tulis saya. Aku tak pernah lagi. Kau nak tulis pasal naik motor. Kau tak pernah naik motor macam naik motor. Malangnya kita terpaksa tulis berita-berita yang sedih. Accident lah tu semua. Saya tak nak cakap lah pasal tu. But here in front of you, ladies and gentlemen, this is the asset of the country. So saya nak wind up dengan beritahu, H360 lifestyle company, we will support this kind of event. We will support all this. Because kita ada hotel, kita ada curut, kita ada kapal layar, sailing, kita ada semua tu. So we can assist John and your team, and you have a wonderful team doing all this. So John, sekarang aku dah banyak kali tepuk kau ni. Maknanya John, dengan kawan-kawan member ni, they have to experience it, John. Kalau tidak, dia nak tulis tu susah, tak sampai. Tak sampai dia nak tulis tu. So I would suggest you, all these gentlemen here, we recognize and given the highest award during your event ke, you want to do a special dinner ke, motorsport dinner ke apa, buat John. Jangan tunggu buat, kita buat. So that's my sharing lah, 2 cents worth lah. So yang paling penting, kawan-kawan media, kau yang paling penting. Tak payahlah nak kawal pasal rilis haram semua, tak payah. Niat. Duit. Kalau kita buat sesuatu, insyaAllah, tahun depan, 2026, memang acara ni ada, the best in Asia. But you have this legend. Bayangkan kalau they speak to the children tentang safety driving. So maybe kerajaan kena fikir bukan bahasa-bahasa ambil lesen, tapi you have to go safety driving. You think these people, they take things seriously because it's their life. Safety driving. Kita ni apa, bayar kadang-kadang dapat lesen kan, macam-macam kan. Tengok apa jadi. Kan? But these guys, no. Proton ada sikit kan. They do safety driving courses. Macam mana safety driving? Bukan pasal nak bawa kereta. Safety driving. Advanced driving. Ini kita tak ajar bila kita nak keluar junction susah. Lagi-lagi boleh keluar. Kalau nak keluar junction lagi-lagi boleh keluar. Come on, man. It's an accident. So, Kevin, thank you for your time, kesabaran.
Hey, not my time, it's their time.
Yeah, and I think kita bagi tepukan pada John and team dia. Wonderful team to put this out. And rakan-rakan media, terima kasih banyak. Terima kasih banyak. And again I say, jumpa John, aku nak belajar drift. We can set it up. I will help him as well. Yeah. Thanks, Kevin.
Thank you, Dato. Thank you for, bringing up so joyful talking to all of you. Now, well, because of the time.
Now you know Pesta Kuantan, 25 Julai, and you have vegetarian crocodile.
Yeah. Yeah, only eat vegetarian. Bukan ke? Oh no. I thought vegetarian crocodile only eat vegetarian. Okay. Now, because of time constraint, I think we have to let us first take a group photo of them together, shall we?
Before we close,
Yeah.
Can I,
Of course, sir.
can I just tell some amusing stories behind?
Of course,
behind the
like-
scenes that will surprise some of the guys here.
Yeah.
Because as I listened to everyone talk, I went like, good God, this motorsport world is so small.
Yeah.
It's small worldwide, but it's also very small within Malaysia. So I'm going to tell some stories which I'm sure none of them even realized. But my background is actually a corporate background. So when I was racing, sponsorship for my racing, for my own jet ski racing and go-karts and all that, I wasn't yet in the corporate world. So before I joined the corporate world, just after I joined actually, I was racing in Arizona at the World Championships. And it was there that I was signed by Petronas, not in Malaysia. A Malaysian company found me in Arizona in the US, and we signed in 1997. And I raced for them for 11 years thereafter. So then during those 11 years, I raced everywhere, Australia, Asia Pacific, everywhere, Korea. But during that time, I became involved in the corporate world. So I started working for this, at that time, very boring insurance company called Penn Global. So I took over and I ran this company, and I wanted to make it different. So I went, how can I make it different? Well, motorsports, because that's what I love. Because everyone else was sponsoring golf tournaments and tennis tournaments, and I thought, I'm not going to do that. So I was in charge of A&P. And then within the group, I had friends like Jack Wong, who's a good friend of Tugujan. So Jeff came to me and said, look, can we do something with motorsports with the racing that he was doing, etc., etc. So we built this gym, okay? Penn Global Insurance built this gym in PJ on the roof. And anyone that buys a policy from us gets membership to the gym. So you don't have to join another club, So we did stuff like that. And then one day, I had a meeting with your dad. He was young, he was really young then, so he wouldn't know. But I met your dad many, many times. And then your dad came to see me with his aide. And then he said, I want to start this thing called MORAC. And I want to do a Langkawi International Go-Kart Championship. Can you sponsor? So I did. So that's why it was called the Penn Global Kart Championship. So So I went there for the opening, and you were there, and your dad and Hussein On, our minister, launched it. And then I did it for 1 year, and then the second year, and then we did do the third year. I think there was no third year or something like that. So it went on and on like that and so on. And as I look around, everything's connected. I went to John's office many, many years ago, and I saw this motorbike there. It turns out to be Sunny's motorbike. I go, I want to meet this guy one day, I heard so much about him, 500cc champion, so on, and I finally get to meet him about 2 years ago. And everything's just connecting such a long way, and we all know Alex Yu is not present right now, but even before Alex Yu was in Formula Asia and all that, I was already, well, the company was already sponsoring him. We sponsored him all the way out until he got to Minardi, and then after that, Arrows first. We did Arrows and then we did Minardi after that. And what a lot of people don't realize is that actually Panglow was the first company that was in motorsport, Formula One, not Magnum or not Petronas. We were the first. And for the people in motorsports, you find this interesting. I dealt directly with Tom Walkinshaw, the late Tom Walkinshaw. I remember doing the deal with him at his house. He brought the Jaguar championship for Jaguar. You know, he yeah. Just that it's all in some way or another connected and all that, and you know,
It's all connected.
yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, so we're a very small group that need big support. Not so much for our generation, but the next one. You know, there's a guy called Hakim Danish. I don't know, you guys might have heard of him. Last weekend he won. I mean, that guy deserves all the support, and if he doesn't get it, you know, it'll be a real tragedy. So anyway, yeah, thanks. You know, I'm so happy to meet all of you. So,
Thank you, thank you. All right, now of course I know that a lot of you still have a lot of questions. We can do this one-to-one later after that, but before that, let's have a group photo. Okay, shall we have all of our legends to like stand in front of, yeah, together lah, Dato. Stand in front of the tables so that all of them can take a great photo.